Hi everyone, I've got a story for you today called A Visitor for Bear. I like this story because it reminds me of something that I'm missing. I'm missing visitors, and you might be too. I'm not sure that Bear wanted visitors, so let's find out what the story says. It's been written by Bonny Becker and illustrated by Katie MacDonald Denton. A Visitor for Bear. No one ever came to Bear's house. It had always been that way, and Bear was quite sure he didn't like visitors. He even had a sign. No visitors allowed. One morning, Bear heard a tap, tap, tapping on his front door. When he opened it, there was a mouse, small and grey and bright-eyed. No visitors allowed, Bear said, pointing to the sign. Go away. He closed the door and went back to the business of making his breakfast. He set out 1 cup and 1 spoon, but when he opened the cupboard to get 1 bowl, I wonder what was there. There was the mouse, small and grey and bright-eyed. Can you see him? Sitting in the little bowl there, peeking out. I told you to leave, cried Bear. Perhaps we could just have a drop of tea, said the mouse. Out, commanded Bear. Most sorry, said the mouse. I'll be going now. Bear showed him to the door and shut it firmly. Then he went back to the business of making his breakfast. But when he opened the bread drawer for 1 slice of bread, do you think the mouse was there? There was the mouse, small and grey and bright-eyed. Bear doesn't look very pleased. Unbelievable, rumbled Bear. Away with you, clear off. I do like a bit of cheese, said the mouse. Bear pointed a rigid claw towards the door. Right then, here I go. Farewell. And the mouse whisked out of the door. This time, Bear shut the door very firmly and locked it tight. He locked the windows too, for good measure. Then once again, he went back to the business of making his breakfast. But when he opened the fridge to get 1 egg, do you think the mouse has snuck back in? There was the mouse, small and grey and bright-eyed, of course. Be gone, roared Bear. Oh, he's getting quite cross. Shall we light the fire? Asked the mouse. This is impossible, intolerable, insufferable, cried Bear, shaking with anger and disbelief. Terribly sorry. Now you see me, now you don't. I am gone. And the mouse looked very sorry indeed while he waited for Bear to unbolt the door and let him out again. This time, before he went back to the business of making his breakfast, Bear shut the door very, very, very firmly, locked it, boarded up the windows, blocked the chimneys, and even put the plug in the bathtub. Carefully, Bear set about the business of making his breakfast. He opened the cupboard. No mouse. He opened the bread drawer. Nothing. Phew. He opened the fridge. Mouse free. Yes, indeed. He lifted the lid from the kettle. I wonder if the mouse is in there. There was the mouse, small and grey, and, well, you know the rest. Bear fell to the floor. I give up, he blubbered. You win. I am undone. He's very upset, Mr. Bear. So sorry, said the mouse, but perhaps I could just have a tiny bit of cheese and a cup of tea. And do you think we could unblock the chimney and light a nice fire? Bear blew his nose with a loud honk. But then you must go, he sniffled. No visitors allowed. You have my word, said the mouse. Bear unboarded the windows, unlocked the door, unblocked the chimney, and took the plug out of the bath. He brought out 2 plates of cheese and 2 teacups, and he lit a fire in the grate for 2 sets of toes. The mouse warmed his feet and nibbled and sipped, and Bear did too. They sat for a long time. The clock on Bear's mantelpiece ticked loudly. Bear cleared his throat. The mouse looked most attentive. No one had ever been most attentive to Bear. The fire is nice, Bear announced. Lovely, said the mouse. No one had ever said Bear's fires were lovely. I can do a headstand, said Bear. Very impressive, exclaimed the mouse. Bear told a joke. The mouse laughed heartily. No one had ever laughed at Bear's jokes before. Bear began to think of another joke. The mouse set down his teacup and Bear quickly lifted the teapot. There's plenty more, he said. So sorry, said the mouse. Most kind, but I must be on my way. Really? You needn't go, said Bear. I am off, said the mouse, springing up from his chair. Wait, cried Bear. But the mouse stepped out of the door. Toodaloo, said the mouse. Don't go, wailed Bear. But I gave you my word, said the mouse, pointing at the no visitors sign. Can you still see it? No visitors allowed. Oh, that, cried Bear, pulling down the sign and tearing it up. That's for salesmen, not for friends. Not for friends? Asked the mouse, small and grey and bright-eyed. Bear nodded. The mouse's bright eyes glowed brighter. Bear smiled. Do you like 1 lump of sugar or 2? Said Bear most politely. I like 2, said the mouse, and Bear agreed. I wonder now if you could just think of a visitor that you might like to see at your door right now. If you could open the door, who would be standing there? Would it be a very special friend, a grandma, a granddad, a nana, a papa, favourite aunt or uncle, or your very best friend from school? Could you draw me a picture of that person? And then draw the picture showing what you'd like to do with them. Would you read a story? Would you draw? Would you dance? Would you run around in the backyard in the sun? Would you show them your learning that you've been doing while we've been away from school? I hope you draw a lovely picture and have a great day. Mrs Lyon would love to see your picture. Goodbye.